Okay, so the topic today is factorization by grouping. Okay, before we go too far, we should look at this diagram here. Now, what you did the last lesson, I probably could add another branch for your distributive law here. All right. It's not on this diagram, so we'll just add it on there. Remember, that was AB plus AC is AB plus C. Okay. But there are other methods for factorization, and you may remember these from grade 8. Okay. So you have this, which is called a perfect square trinomial. The word is here, trinomial. We're not doing this one today. Okay, we're going to do these over a couple of periods here. So these are called perfect square trinomials. IALS. So don't worry too much about this one today. They have specific forms and they look like this. This section here will be discussed when we do quadratic equations. So that would be chapter 4 and 5. So this one we're not doing yet. So in polynomials, we won't do this technique in this unit. We'll do it later. The other one you will do is binomials. Bi means 2. Okay, tri means 3. And you can see that. You see you have 3 terms here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and this one has 2 terms here. So a little bit different. But this rule here is called difference of squares. And we're going to do that in one lesson as well. What you're going to do today is this method here, grouping. And we do that when we have 4 terms. Okay, so that's the method we're going to do here, factorizing by grouping. Okay. So it's really just an extension of the distributive law here. So for example, look at this method here. Look what we have, this question. We have 4a something, 5 something. So I could rewrite that as a, where a is 4a. B is this part. C is the 5 or minus 5. And B is the 2b plus 3. So let's rub that out first. So that's like saying from the distributive law, AB minus CB is B, A minus C. So you can see it's actually the same rule as this. So in this case, you can see B is your common factor. That's this part here. So this bit, B, will come out the front. So then you would have 2b plus 3. Put it in a bracket. And what are you left with? The A minus C part, this part here. So that's 4a minus 5. Okay, so if you had wanted to check that, you would expand. It's a different color. So it would be 2b plus 3 times 4a. So you'd get 4a, 2b plus 3. And then you would have 2b plus 3 times minus 5. 2b plus 3. So I'm just going backwards. You see that? It's actually the same rule. Okay, we're going to do lots of practice anyway. So let's look at another one. That one's fairly straightforward because we already can see the 2 factors are here, the common factor. So that's your common factor there. Okay, but in the next question, and you do see this sometimes, you've got this rule here, which is very useful. So for example, if you had 3 minus 4, s minus r, it's not the same as 4 minus 3, is it? Right, they're different. 3 minus 4 is minus 1, 4 minus 3 is 1. But how can you make them the same? You see what they did here? S minus r is minus r minus s. So you swap the number around, but then you need to put a minus sign in front. So if you want these to be equal, you would put a minus here. So then you get minus 1 there. So for example, 8 minus 3 would be the same as minus 3 minus 8, which is very useful because when you look at this here, r minus s and s minus a, you might think they're not common, right? But you can actually make them the same. So in this case, we'd have 6r, r minus s minus r would become minus r minus s. So that minus 7 will actually become plus 7 r minus s. Okay, so let's look at that again. Minus 7 s minus r. The s minus r is minus r minus s. But you have a negative 7 here. Okay, so that negative 7 times negative 1, there's a 1 there, becomes 7. Okay, you're not going to see that actually today in my questions. I didn't give you one like this, but be aware of this here. I'll give you some maybe a bit later when we do some more review. So I'll rub that out so we've got some space. Yeah, so this question here, 8 minus 3 is 5. Minus 3 minus 8 is minus 5. So then it becomes plus 5. So 5 equals 5. So you can make them the same, but you need to swap and you need to put a minus sign in front here when you do the swapping. Okay, but the question that you're going to see a lot of is this kind of question where you have 4 terms. So the first thing you do, underline the first 2 like that, then underline the second 2 like that. And then we look for a common factor here. So you've got 3xz minus 4yz. You can see here that z is the common factor. So like you did yesterday or on Monday, take out z. What are you left with? 3x minus 4y. Like that. Now look here, what's the common factor here? We'll use the minus here. So put the minus sign in there. And then the common factor here will be a. You see that? A is here. So we put a in the front. What are you left with? Is that okay? I hear someone calling. Someone's mic is on. Okay, so you've got 3x plus 4y. But be careful here. 3x, this plus is going to be minus 4y. Do you see how I changed the sign here? Be careful. Minus a times 3x minus 3xa, okay. Minus 3a, minus 3xa times 4, hold on. Oh, let's go back. Minus a times minus 4y minus 4ay, but because you've got negative, it becomes plus. So you've got to be careful with your signs here. Okay. Now what should happen is that actually these should be the same. So if you just write plus here, you can think you made a mistake because it should be the same as this sign here. It needs to be the same. So you're going to have your common factor, which is 3x minus 4y, 3x minus 4y. That's your common factor. look at the terms that you're left with, z and minus a. So we write them back down as z minus a. Okay, so this has been factorized into two binomials here. If you want to check your answer, you'll need to expand it. Okay. I'll leave it there. So if you want to copy that one, you can copy it down. Now this one, again, is pretty easy because you can see you've got 5y minus 2 and 5y minus 2. So these are already a common factor. So the common factor will come out the front, 5y minus 2, and you are left with x squared minus 7. This can actually be factorized more, but for today, we just leave it alone. So this is finished. Okay, we can factorize that with difference of squares, but I'll show you later. This is your final answer. Okay, 2 factors. Now for this question, take a look. 4a squared minus 6a. So underline the first 2 terms. Underline the next 2 terms. And then we look for common factors. So you see here, you've got a 4 and a 6. So 2 would be common because 2 divides into 4 and 6. And also a. A is a common factor. So in your bracket, 2a times 2a will give you 4a squared. 2a times minus 3. 2a times minus 3 is minus 6a. Okay, so this one is factorized. Put your sign in, minus. Your common factor here will be the x and also 3, because 3 divides into 6 and 9. So 3x here. Then you should be thinking it's probably going to be this term here. So let's check that. 2a minus 3 times 2 minus 6, x times a, ax. Ax and xa is the same, isn't it? So xa equals ax. Multiplication can be swapped around. So then this term would be minus 3. Minus 3x times minus 3 plus 9x. And then minus 3x times 2a minus 6ax. So now you've got your common factor, which is 2a minus 3, 2a minus 3. And then we write that term in the front, 2a minus 3. And then we write down the remaining part, 2a minus 3x. Like that. Okay, and they're your 2 factors there. All right. I'll leave a bit of time for you to copy that if you're writing it down. How about this one? Now, also sometimes if you can't, when you underline your 2 terms and you can't get it to work, if you can't do this procedure, you get stuck, then you may need to swap 2 of the numbers around. So for example, 2 numbers may need to be changed position to make it work. But in today's work, you don't need to do that. So just underlining is okay for today. So we don't need to swap today. But yeah, if you can't make it work, you may have to swap them. And if you swap them and it doesn't work, then this procedure doesn't work. You have to find another way. Okay, so we've got 15x squared and x. 15 is, well, 3 times 5. And 6 is 2 times 3. So, and also we have x and x here. So your common factor will be 3x in the front, because we have x from the x squared and we have x here. So this is going to have to be 5x, isn't it? 5x times 3x, 15x squared. 3x times 2 is 6x. Okay, so just double check by multiplying out, you get this term back. Put your sign in, which is minus. Now here, there's no number common factor, but z. In this case, z would be your common factor. You would be left with 5x. And even though this is negative, this will have to be plus. Because when you expand, you'll get negative come back here. All right, so just be a little bit careful with your signs in this part of the question here. Because these two terms, these two should be the same if this method works. So that's one way to know. So we write your common factor down, which is 5x plus 2. And you are left with 3x minus z. Like that, finished. Okay. Is there any questions about this so far? Any problems? All right. So I'll help you out a little bit. Is anyone copying this? Yes or no? Got it? All right, I'll move down. Okay, these are your questions. Now you can see there's a lot here. And of course, you're not going to finish today because it's 8:20 already. So maybe do every second row. So do the first one. This is your basic one. Then jump down. You can keep some for your own practice when you want to review a bit. And I think even these blue ones, you may not finish. Okay. So have a go at them, those ones. And you can try 2. In question 2, it says that not all 4-term expressions can be factored by grouping. So I want to know which ones of these can you factor using this method. And when you try them, try each one and see which one works. Okay, for question 2. I'm going to leave you some time to work, and then we can do some solutions for these at the end. I might just pick some out because I think you'll run out of time anyway. And I'll send you the answers tomorrow. It's 8:20, so we have about half an hour, which means about 20 minutes, okay, from now. So you can start working now, and I'll be quiet for a while. And then you can, if you have a question, you can ask. And then let me know how it's going, all right? Okay, you can work for a while. And then we'll review soon. Okay, so you can watch here. Just stop what you're doing for a little while and we'll go through some answers. Okay, in question A, I'll do the working down here, then I'll erase it so you can copy or check from this bottom section here. So in question A, you can see your common factor is going to be x plus 2. So put your x plus 2 to the front. And then you see what you're left with, a plus b. So a plus b. Okay, and then question B, you've got your common factor, which is p minus 1. So luckily these first 3 are already partially factorized for you anyway. So then you've got p minus 1. And you are left with x minus 4. X minus 4 there. For question C, again, your common factor is p minus 6. So we write that as the common factor at the front. And you are left with 5a minus 3 as the second factor. Okay, so I think you probably all did those ones already. So I'll rub them out. For them, they're straightforward. Okay, going to G, you've got 2ax minus 3ay. So the common factor here is a. You are left with 2x minus 3y. In the second part, your common factor here is b. 2 and 3 have no common factors, so not the number, so only b. So keep your sign, minus b, make a bracket. You would then be left with 2x. And this one tells you it's probably going to be minus. So put a minus there. So put a minus, and then this one would be 3y. Okay, so check by expanding. Minus b times 2x, minus b 2x, minus b times minus 3y plus 3by. Because remember, negative times negative is positive. So then you're going to be left with 2x minus 3y, a minus b for that one. Okay, I'll erase that one. Okay, question H. We have 7 minutes, so let's see if we can do them all. So H, you've got x squared. X squared is your common factor in question H. You are left with y minus 3 minus 2. 2 is the common factor between 2 and 6. Minus 2. This will be y minus 3. So check, minus 2 times y, minus 2y. Minus 2 times minus 3 is plus 6. So it looks okay. So then factorize the y minus 3. Then you have x squared minus 2. So that's question H for that one. And then question I will do. So you can see the common factor here will be a squared for that one. So let's erase that. Draw. Okay, for question I, your common factor then would be a squared. So a squared, you are left with b plus 3 plus, keep your sign, plus common factor between 2b and 6 will be 2. And you are left with b plus 3 again, like that. So your common factor is b plus 3. Put in the front and see what you're left with. A squared plus 2 as the second factor, like that. Okay, that's question I. Fairly straightforward, isn't it? Not too difficult. Oi, talking too much. Problem with learning online, I have to talk more than in the class normally. Okay, question M. I may skip some of these so we can do the last line. 4ax squared, 2axy. It looks like 2a squared is the common factor. So 2a squared, you are left with 2x. 2a squared, you are left with y from that one. Keep your sign, minus. Common factor, b, and 3. So 3b. is the common factor. You would be left with 2x, should be 2x plus y, right? And you can check that. Minus 3b times 2x minus 6bx minus 3b times y minus 3by. Okay, so your common factor then is 2x plus y. Like that, and then 2a squared minus 3b as the last factor. So the last factor is just made up of the remaining terms here. I need to put them down there. So that's question M. We can go a little bit over time, but I rather finish on time will be good. M, how about N? Question N. Common factor looks like x and 3x. You would be left with 2b, a plus a, keep a sign, minus, looks like 2y. 2y is a common factor. So then you would be left with 2b, and should be the same as this one, plus a, check by expanding, okay? So 2y, 2b, 4by minus 2y times a minus 2ay, okay? So then you're left with 2b plus a is the common factor, then 3x minus 2y, like that. That's question N. We have a couple of minutes left, so I might jump down to the last row. Remember, this is all on the video, so you can watch that again if you're missing anything. Okay, so nearly out of time. So let's look at S. We've got x and y minus 5xn, I'll write it out, plus y minus 5. So underline your terms. So with this one, it looks like xn. It doesn't matter that there's a power there. This is the same. So xn would be your common factor. So write xn at the front. You would be left with y minus 5. And then this is going to be plus. Now this is already y minus 5. So what I like to do is put that in a bracket, y minus 5, like that. So these are your common factors now. So write your y minus 5 in the front. And xn plus 1. Don't forget the plus 1, because there is a 1 here, which we never write. So that 1 would be here. There. Okay. So for t, I'll do t as well. We've got a minute. No time, actually. Let's write it quick. So an xn plus 2an plus xn plus 2. So quickly, your common factors are an. You are left with xn plus 2. Your last term is also xn plus 2. So your common factor then is xn plus 2. And you're left with an plus 1. There, finished. Okay, I'll let you do, you can do you yourself if you are still working. Did anyone finish fully? Yeah, put your hand up if you finished everyone, all the blue ones, yeah? Okay, so not too hard, is it, right? No problem? Okay, good. I'll leave it there because it's already over time, and I'll record this and then I will put it to your link. When I send you thing online, remember it expires in 7 days. So if I send you a video link, you need to save the link somewhere, because I unlisted the file in YouTube so other people can't see it. So that if you don't have the link, you can't find it again. All right. But later on, I'll make a summary sheet of all the links. All right. I'll stop there then. All right. And I'll see you tomorrow for the next topic.